think that the New York Jets should sign Corey Davis. So, Blake, I'm going to start off and outline why. First of all, I think Corey Davis is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. I think that A.J. Brown is basically a top 10 receiver, if not like right there with the top 10 receivers. And I think Corey Davis is almost as good as A.J. Brown. Like, Corey Davis was dominant last year. And the reason I think the Jets need to sign him is, one, he's a really good route runner. He's got good hands. He's good after the catch. He brings everything you want as a receiver to the position. And the big thing is that the concepts between the Tennessee Titans offense and the Mike LaFleur, who's going to run the Shanahan offense, are translatable. Arthur Smith runs a version or runs an offense with a similar philosophy and conceptually similar to the Shanahan offense. And that's the offense Corey Davis has played in. From that standpoint, I think it would be a pretty seamless transition. And I think whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Zach Wilson or whether they keep Sam Darnold, Corey Davis would be very, very, very consistent. He's just a guy that gets open. He's consistent, good hands, catches the ball, good after the catch. He's just a really, really good football player. And I think he's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Jets.
Yeah. So with that, I think the transition's like one of the big things. Like, obviously going from a similar system to this, from one system to another, and there's similar, obviously continuity there helps. Second, when you look at the Jets, just playmakers in general, last year they had Frank Gore as their starting running back, so that's all you need to know there. Chris Herndon, the tight end, is still coming in. And then at receiver, they had Jamison Crowder, who is really good in the slot, but he's constantly injured, so he's not the most reliable. And then Denzel Mims, who they drafted in the second, is more of a burner type of guy. So I think Corey Davis would complement them both in being kind of just like the jack-of-all-trades receiver, where he's not just specialized in one area, but he can do pretty much anything really, really well. And that'll really help for whoever they have at quarterback, whether that's Darnold or most likely possibly Wilson or Fields, or maybe they trade for a guy. We don't know that yet. But whatever quarterback's back there could use some help with the weapons they have. And they have cap space too. That's the other thing. There's a few teams that just have tons and tons of cap space, and the Jets are one of them. And they need to prove for a receiver, because whatever quarterback they have, they can't put him in the same position as Darnold's been in the last few years, where there's not a great O-line and no weapons. It's just not a recipe for success.
And the O-line problem was seemingly a much better last year. I mean, Mekhi Becton is a stud, and I think it's Pat Eifline. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Pat Eifline, who they got off waivers from the Minnesota Vikings. Pat Elflein absolutely killed it for them when he played last year. Pat Elflein played really good for them. So because of that, I think that Corey Davis would change their offense. And the other thing is that Shanahan's offense, the offense LaFleur is going to implement, is really complex. Like, we've seen Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk talk about how long it took them to get the verbiage down. Well, I think that for a guy like Denzel Mims, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get the verbiage down. Yeah. So maybe Corey Davis, because there's some similarities from Arthur Smith and Mike LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan's offense, where maybe Corey Davis would be huge because he could come in from day one and be a pros pro. And I think a combination of Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, maybe you draft a guy, would be super, super, super solid for any quarterback. Or maybe you signed one more guy, like Kendrick Bourne from the 49ers would be a good signing for the Jets. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, a draft pick, Denzel Mims, Corey Davis. Like, now your quarterback's going to be in a decent position. Maybe you get Jonnu Smith too. The Jets own free agency, because most teams in the NFL don't have the money to make moves. And the Jets, the Patriots, the football team, Washington football team, the Dolphins, these teams that do have the money are sitting here like they're going to be able to get the pick of their players. Yeah,
and what his price range is, I don't think it. What do you think he will go for? I think if it was a shorter deal, like probably 10 to 12 million.
I'd say 10 to 14, right?
Yeah, and well, you also got to factor in too. So the Titans didn't pick up his fifth-year option. His first 4 years, he was like the number 5 pick. Everyone thought he was going to be this stud, and his first 4 years were kind of underwhelming for his draft stock, or his draft position rather. But that 5th year, he turned it on, and I don't think it'll be a one-year wonder. I think he definitely benefited a lot from Tannehill being there and not Marcus Mariota. So I think sky's the limit for the Jets if they do get him with their offensive weapons, just like actually having like reliable people that they haven't had in the past.
Yeah, and you brought it up, right? You don't think he's a one-year wonder, but I also don't think, like I told you, I think he's really good. I think he's almost as good as A.J. Brown, but he's not A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was the number one receiver for that team, and he just lacks that quick twitch explosiveness and kind of like being that special upper tier athlete to be the true number one receiver. But they have a guy in Denzel Mims who fits that physical profile. Denzel Mims is like 6'3", 220 and runs a 4.38, 4.39. He has the right physical profile to be that guy. But Corey Davis is going to be a very consistent, very, very good player. I think he's an awesome fit for the Jets.
Yep, I'm with you.